Macklin Celebrini makes his preseason debut and shows glimpses of what is to come for the San Jose Sharks.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at the Reef, also the co-host of Western Conference Tuesdays on the Locked On NHL channel. I want to thank you for making a Locked On Sharks your first listen, proudly part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. And if you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just follow wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch this on YouTube as well. And today, Macklin Celebrini, he's good, kids. He's really good. Going to discuss Macklin Celebrini's debut, talk about which other Sharks players impressed in the Sharks preseason opener, spoiler, Luca Cagnoni, and which players maybe had a little quiet night we want to see a little bit more from. Before we get started with all that, I do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Place your first $5 bet and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. So, we have to start with Macklin Celebrini. Made his preseason debut. And before we'll get there. The thing that stood out to me is he's an NHL player already. 18 years old. He just looks like an NHL player already. And then you see what makes him special, right? Especially in the third period. Sharks get on the power play, and he dominates a power play. And I know Vegas, this is a preseason game, right? Vegas isn't rolling out their best lineup, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I don't care. Like, that stuff doesn't matter. It's the traits, right? Process over results right now. Macklin Celebrini's process is as good as it gets. The way he thinks the game, the way he sees the game, the way he plays the game, and then he's got that dog in him too, that just like killer, like the LeBron meme of just like the stare down. Like, he has that already at the age of 18. I don't know about you, but me at the age of 18, I was like, afraid to go ask about like a job, like offer or something like that. Like, this kid, nothing phases him. This is a good thing. Like, we're going to be blessed with this for the next 15 to 20 years, hopefully, of him just being this guy for the San Jose Sharks. But man, it's something, and you saw tonight on display. Playing well, I thought, especially in his own defensive zone. I know, like, if you look at the plus minus, I don't give a crap about plus minus. He's, -2 or whatever. Like, don't care. You saw him playing responsibly well in the defensive zone. First shift of the game, he gets out there. He draws a penalty because of his speed and his skating ability. Sharks get a power play opportunity, and he was great on the power play. And I know. We'll get to the fireworks factory here. Celebrini also, just his transition game, you see it, and the way he can work with his teammates, the way his ability to kind of almost like match speed, where it's like he knows, okay, I got to kind of kick it up a gear, or I need to downshift a gear. Just his ability to manipulate his own speed to work with his own teammates. He had a really nice opportunity with Clem Costin, where they were kind of like on a mini 2-on-1, and Celebrini makes a pass that gets blocked, but Costin was wide. Like, if that pass gets through, Costin scores. Like I would have been shocked if Costin doesn't score there. It was just a beautiful play. Good, congrats to the defender there, kind of making a great play. Maybe you want to see Celebrini shoot there. okay, but again, I'm going to with him. He is just so cerebral, and the way he understands how the game works and can do what, and like I'm going to kind of defer to him there. So, not to say we're not going to like say like Celebrini should have been better here or there, et cetera, et cetera. But with those types of plays, maybe he shoots, or maybe he's setting up his pitch for later on too. Could be, because that's not going to be the first and only 2-on-1 that Celebrini is going to earn in his hockey career. Like he could just be setting up his pitch at this point, which would be an amazing thing. But Celebrini on the power play, which I'm curious if this might be a topic for later on this week, but the Sharks power play might be like really good, especially with Celebrini, because we saw most of the guys we expect to be on the power, like number one power play unit, right? Celebrini, Toffoli, Granlund, Eklund, and then Cagnoni, and we'll plenty to talk about with Cagnoni. You can swap out your defense if it's Jake Malm and whoever on the defense, but those four guys are probably your power play one. Maybe Will Smith you can rotate Will Smith in there, but that the power play is going to run through Macklin Celebrini and his ability to create and go get the puck back when things kind of get chaotic. But you already saw just beautiful puck movement from this unit, and Celebrini just setting up on the right dot. If you're looking towards the net on the right dot, just setting up there and just going to be able to smash one-timers. It's going to be a thing of beauty, and future Sharks having Celebrini on the right side and Casper Halton on the left side on a power play is just going to be because you'll be able to basically do whatever you want. Like it'll be just pick your poison there hopefully at some point. But yeah, his ability to rip that shot off quick, right? And beat the goalie. I know the goalie wasn't like, not an NHL caliber goalie right now, but that shot is only going to get better and better as he gets older and stronger. But it is a thing of beauty right now. And Celebrini's that Tyler Toffoli pass that he made. So Celebrini, same spot right there. Cagnoni makes nice, kind of passes it to him. Celebrini, he kind of looks like he's going to go inside, like kind of push it inside, takes a little bit of a step back and kind of as he's turning backwards, like turning away, like his left shoulder's like turning away, almost like a fadeaway. It was almost like a fadeaway pass. Gets it through two stick. Like it's happening. So the pass is so fast and so crisp. The camera can't even keep up with it. Like even from like the reverse angle, like Toffoli just has to stand there and put his stick on the ground and it's in the net. But just like when I saw that pass in real time, the noise I made was just like, oh my God, like we are just scratching the surface of what Celebrini is going to be. If this is what he's doing in a preseason game, yeah, it's going to be a new day, and it's not going to be this year, right? And that is one thing we need to remember. This is it's not going to happen all this year, and you're going to have games like this, like you're going to have these flashes or these moments or these periods where Celebrini does amazing things, and then you're going to have some down stretches, right? And just as a reminder, this team is still going to be not great this year. Like this is still probably a bottom 5 team in the NHL this year, but you have hope now. Celebrini has brought you hope. Things sooner than later, things are going to be much better in San Jose because of the way he plays the game of hockey and the way he can make his line mates better, the way he can make just the team better, and the way, again, just that like dog mentality of like, I don't care if the score is like 10-1. I'm going to continue to play my brains out until they drag me off the ice. Yeah, it's gonna be a new era here in San Jose really quickly. And again, Vegas won. We'll talk about some of the ugly, or kind of what we need to see improvements here. And with the when the score was 4-2, whatever. But like the biggest takeaway is, yeah, Celebrini's gonna be doing just fine in the NHL. Like he's an NHL player right now, and he's only going to get. Imagine this is the worst. This is the worst Macklin Celebrini is going to be in his career. This is the worst he's ever going to be. Gonna be fun, kids. All right, we're gonna talk about Luca Cagnoni, some of the other players who I thought impressed tonight, as well as the Sharks lose 4-2 to the Vegas Golden Knights in their first preseason game. Then we'll talk about kind of other guys who I think need to show a little bit more as the preseason kind of winds on here. So we'll get to that here in just 1 minute. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members, and they have great things going all the time. Like right now, one Caleb Williams passing yard gets you 1 win on PrizePicks every week in September. That's right. Only 1 yard gets you an automatic win every football weekend in September. 4 weeks of free dubs. Don't miss this deal on PrizePicks because it's gone when September ends. Great thing too is just because you live in California, you don't have to worry about not being able to play. PrizePicks has great action on sports in most states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. So download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONNHL on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive your $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. We're driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for candidates isn't a search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. And Indeed doesn't just help you hire faster. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to a recent Indeed survey. So join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of the show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/lockedon. Let's go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. All right. Other impressive players. I think Luca Cagnoni, absolute, just all over the ice tonight. He's going to be good. Like, I don't know how many times I got to tell you guys, like Luca Cagnoni is going to be a good player. You saw offensively, right? 2 assists tonight. Both of them, a primary assist on Celebrini's goal. Another assist on the Toffoli goal. His skating ability, right? Like you see it in the offensive zone. It's just such a smooth skater. Nothing phases this guy. But you also see it in the defensive zone, right? How often, like the way he plays the game defensively is he's just like, he knows he has to rely on better stick positioning, better positioning in general, and just kind of like the geometry of the game, right? He knows he's always gonna have trouble against bigger, kind of power 40 guys like that. That's fine, okay, but that doesn't mean he can't still be a good defenseman. And the way he seals guys off the boards, how often, like winning the board battles, because he can kind of get underneath guys, especially get underneath their sticks and just kind of scoop it out of there and be on his way. Cagnoni, I think, other than Celebrini, Cagnoni was the story of the night tonight, because of how impressive he was in all 3 zones. In the transition game, Like he can move the puck very well. We saw it plenty in the offensive zone. How many times, not only on the power play, like he's going to be running he's going to be running the Barracuda power play at some point. Maybe not right away because of some of the guys they have on there. But I thought he was the most impressive defenseman tonight. And I know people are like, well, can he make the team out of camp? I don't see it yet. I would like to see him get some seasoning in the AHL. One game does not make kind of doesn't make everything for Cagnoni. I'd like to see him get some more seasoning in the AHL. But there's so much there to love from him, and don't be surprised when he plays NHL games this season. Like this season, he's going to be playing NHL games for the Sharks. So special dude. So Cagnoni was absolutely great tonight. We saw more of the Eklund and Granlund chemistry, right? Those guys kind of picking up right where they left off last year. Great give and go where Schmid who the Vegas goalie who started just robs Granlund. But great give and go between those two. Good to see Eklund continuing on the earning time on the penalty kill tonight. Like I thought Eklund had a solid game. I thought Granlund had a good game as well. I know Granlund had a penalty at the end, but that was one of those you had to take it to kind of give up, or else you're giving up a great scoring chance there. So good to see those guys continue where they left off. Some of the other guys, Tyler Toffoli, you can already see him in the chemistry between Macklin Celebrini. Toffoli's gonna be good. Like he's a professional. That's what you want to see. Some of the other guys who I thought I really liked, Ethan Cardwell's game tonight too. Just again, active in all three zones, especially on the penalty kill. That's going to be his route to being an NHL player, right? Is just being a player who can do whatever is asked. You need me to go play on the third line and cause some chaos? Awesome, I can do that. You need me to go be a solid penalty killer and maybe create a little bit of offense on the penalty kill. Cool, I can do that. Play on the power play, got it. Whatever you like, that's Cardwell's game. That's what's going to make him a successful NHL player. It's just his ability to adapt to whatever the coaches need him to do, and you saw that tonight. So I really liked his game. He's I think he's set to have a huge season for the Barracuda this year. So liked what I saw out of him tonight. Among the defensemen, Cody Ceci, I thought pretty, I think this is what you're going to see out of Cody Ceci is just going to be like kind of a calming presence. I know, again, like him and Ferraro were kind of out there babysitting all the kids defensively. I thought he was fine tonight. Same thing with Mario Ferraro. I think those, again, like what you're getting with both those guys any time they go over the board. So I think their role tonight was just to kind of be an adult for since the Sharks played so many young defensemen tonight. So in goal, Romanov and Blackwood. I think Romanov would really like to have that first goal, that goal he gave up back. I know it was a nice shot. Like it was a very quick shot. I think it snuck up on him. And I think if you asked him, he would probably say like, yeah, I'd like to have that one back. Maybe he wasn't quite prepared for it to kind of come off the stick. Maybe like could have been a little bit more prepared, but it was a really good shot. It was a really quick shot. But it feels like maybe one he probably should have saved. But he was good after that. And especially as the Sharks were trying to make a comeback. For Blackwood, I thought he was okay. The first goal was whatever. The second goal, he was out on an island, and we'll talk about that goal here in a minute as we kind of talk about some guys who had maybe more up and down performances and maybe guys who need to show a little bit more. We'll talk about that goal here in a minute. But overall, though, I feel like the guys you wanted to see positive stuff out of, you saw positive stuff out of. And there's going to be some ups and downs, especially with some of these young players. And we'll get to that here in just 1 second. Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you lock in your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. All right, guys, before we finish up here, do want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. For your second listen, go check out one of the other great shows here, the Locked On Network, right? You've got Locked On Basketball, like Locked On Warriors. If you want to listen to that, go check out the Locked On Niners, Locked On A's, Locked On Giants, or the Locked On NHL Network, where we have a slew of hosts, including myself, every Tuesday, discussing all the big things going on in the NHL. This week on Locked On NHL on Tuesday, we're going to be talking about the Sharks, the Kraken, and the Blues as we continue our burning questions for each team in the Western Conference. So make sure you guys are following wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. All right, who maybe needs to show a little bit more? Who had some up and down nights? I guess we're not trying to pile on here, right? Because like it's preseason. A lot of these guys are kind of playing their first taste here of like NHL action, playing against like grown men, et cetera, et cetera. Let's start with Sam Dickinson, who I think had a up and down nights. And you saw kind of stuff about Sam Dickinson where you were like, okay, I can see like this is what's going to make him like a special player. He had a beautiful breakout pass from the goal line to the other blue line, basically. And that was just like right on sauce pass, right on Colin Graf. Beautiful. You can see. Okay. That is something we can work with there. I thought he played pretty strong in his own zone most of the time. Made some mistakes, and this is if you go back even to like after they drafted him, I did my kind of breakdown on Sam Dickinson. Some of the decision making, especially under pressure, is where he gets into trouble, and you saw that tonight. And that second goal is on Sam Dickinson. Kind of a car crash going on in the neutral zone. I think a ref and some players are kind of sopping and stuff, and the puck kind of squirts past a couple forwards, and Sam Dickinson is the last man back. He needs to be more conservative in that spot and play as the last man back, but instead he kind of races towards the puck, tries to play it, and gets beat. And then he's all Brett Howden, I think. Yeah, Howden is left all by himself with the entire offensive zone to himself with Mackenzie Blackwood and goal. He made a little bit later in the game, like at his own blue line. He got lucky. He kind of makes like a scramble dump in play, and it works for him that time. But if he misses on it, it is a like 2-on-1 or 3-on-1 going the other way. So these are some of the decision-making process things that he needs to continue to iron out as he continues his growth and development. And yes, I know Sam Dickinson playing in his first game against kind of grown men here. And Dickinson is expected to go back to London and continue to work on these things. But these are the issues that he's going to need. This is the biggest thing I think he needs to work on in his development is decision making, especially under pressure. And that just comes with reps for him, I think. It's just going to be, okay, like, what do I do when this happens? And what happens when I see this thing here? And the problem solving in those scenarios. And I think it's just going to be reps for him. So not worried about it. Like, again, like this isn't like the Sharks made a terrible decision drafting Sam. No, that is not what I'm saying. Like every player has stuff they need to work on. And I think for Sam Dickinson, it's still that processing, especially when he's pressured, and you saw it tonight. So, but I mean, he's big enough, skilled enough, fast enough, I think, to play in the NHL. But the mental game is just not quite there yet with him, and that's fine. right? Not every first round pick is going to jump straight to the NHL. And we want him to go marinate in with London. What's going to be a really good team. Go continue to play big time, meaningful games in the playoffs. So Quentin Musty, I thought tonight had a really quiet night. One spot where they get in the offensive zone where he has the puck and he just kind of stops skating. And you like to see him get there. Shang wrote a really good article on like what he's with Musty, like where he's had to rely on he's been able to kind of outmuscle and outsize guys in the O. Which is again when you're 6'2", 200 pounds at 18, like now 19, and you're just bigger, stronger, faster, like that's fine. But when you're playing everybody else who's 6'2", 200 pounds, it's kind of learning that part of the game in the NHL here. So it just really stinks that he can't play it within the Barracuda this year, because that's I think where he would really be able to work on this part of his game. But I thought he was just really quiet tonight. I know he also did have to serve the penalty for Giovanni Smith, who got the 4-minute double minor. That kind of throws things out for you as well. But I just thought he was a little quiet tonight. I would like to see a little bit more from him. Henry Thrun, I thought, was a bit of a mess tonight. Not his best game, just kind of some of the decision making with Thrun there. Like I know he's spent a lot of time working on kind of some of the defensive areas, and again, right, your one preseason game doesn't make or break you, but would like to see a little bit more out of him. Jack Thompson, I don't want to say I thought he was quiet as well tonight, which for a defenseman like that's perfectly fine. Maybe right, he's not kind of given the same. I think they were giving Cagnoni the opportunity to see what he could do instead of kind of maybe giving Jack Thompson those. But he was fine tonight as well. Among the forwards, I think like Klim Kostin, I thought was okay tonight. There was a couple of plays where I thought, like, again, if he had scored on that one goal from Granlund or not from Celebrini, we would have been talking about. But for the most part, I think the forwards were pretty good overall. Giovanni Smith, he just doesn't do it for me. But each his own. So, but I think overall though, like you have to feel pretty good about. You saw the young players. You saw the players that you want to see do stuff tonight. So we'll see who play. There's Sharks are on an off day on Monday, so like with no practice or anything like that. Tuesday they will have their next preseason game. Expect to see the Will Smith line in there. I wonder if if they kind of rotate who gets kind of popped in there as well. So if maybe like Musty gets another chance there, and maybe if Cagnoni, like I'm curious to see who that. But I fully expect to see Will Smith in that line, playing with so I think he's gonna be playing with. I'm curious to see if they keep him with Goodrow or like how they kind of deal with that. But so yeah, we'll expect to see Will Smith on Tuesday night and see if he can answer to Celebrini's debut. So that's going to be it for me tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. We continue to go through preseason, start gearing up towards the regular season. So make sure you are following wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter at MyFryhole. Until tomorrow. Bye, friends.